Approval of the agenda. So moved.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Consent items, minutes, bills. Dave, did you get all your questions answered?
I did, the only, just following up on the references, what is our standard policy? Just regard-
Four on there,
Four.
so there's no policy update. Those
And we do follow through, I mean, we do place a phone call.
That's their job to follow.
Okay,
those,
and then the second piece was just background checks. I've got to think as a school district, I mean,
yes. We're required.
all right.
Right.
I don't ever recall seeing a cost or us paying, is that?
Yeah, how much?
Who is it? Who, if you said the name of it, I
For
probably.
the background checks,
Yeah.
it's $15 and
Just can't, like, okay, all right,
Take your information.
But we- everybody-
$15
right,
and stick it
right.
in it.
all right. I'm good.
Just, that last page of the line of savings bank, do we have to publish all that, our bank account number, or our phone number? Who's gonna,
Right.
please, we're not gonna publish that, are we?
No.
Okay, all right, I was just, it's like, holy smokes.
And along with that, when we hire payroll, I'll let the payroll person on there get them approved too,
Okay,
on that wire, the last page.
do you understand my concern?
Yes, yes,
No.
yep.
Okay. All right, do you have a motion to approve the, any other questions on the consent items? Have a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
Dave,
Second.
Diane, all in favor?
Aye.
No. Public comments, Diane?
I just wanted to take a minute to thank the board for hiring that consultant. I really appreciate all the effort and time that went into that. I would just, so I really do appreciate that. I want you guys to hear that. I still just need you guys to know that at the high school level, our kids still aren't out in work-based learning. I mean, Madison just started this week. There are other kids that don't have placement yet, and I think that's still a huge concern. So,
Wasn't it noted in her report? There was a specific, how was that noted regarding the work-based? I thought, it's my recollection.
yeah, I heard her say that it was, that was in place and that was good, and I was,
And you would disagree with
I
that?
would, well, given the fact that, I mean, Madison was placed at someplace that, at the Animal Rescue League, and she hates animals, and people know that, and anyway, it's been falsely documented in her IEP for months that she enjoys animals, which she doesn't, and then she's at the ARL, and she was supposed to start the week after school started, and for whatever reason, we didn't get to start until this week. So, and I don't know, from my understanding from other parents, their child still isn't placed in a place either, so.
I don't know that. I know what it's
I heard her say that as a positive.
It's the top of the page, above the prior areas. So the second bullet down says work experience will pay for students with disability and secure building, and then associates have completed training to work on this job. Is that weird? Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, that's what I.
How do we approach that, or is that just a topic?
Seth, do you have any update?
Yeah, obviously I'm new this year, but I've worked closely with our special ed teachers to try and remedy some of these things, especially getting students out into the workplace. So coming a little late, the process is kind of new to me, but I agree, should have had placement sooner than we did, I should say. But there are several students that have been placed appropriately and timely, I think, too. So just know that we are working on that, and it's something that I'm certainly tackling and have worked with other district leaders on trying to remedy and fix, so.
Okay, thank you. Yes?
I didn't know if I have to fill out a form or not, but I think one of the challenges is, and this is not just with work-based learning, but the school year starts, and it's things kind of, close out at the end of the year, and then the school year starts, but the teachers aren't back, and then it takes time to get in touch with the parents, and then by the time a meeting is established, and then you get things moving, just time slips away. So one of the thoughts that I would have is to make sure all that planning is done at the end of the, maybe even in March or April, which in the past, they've always said that's too soon because they can make progress between then and May. But there's always been, whether it's work-based learning or anything else, there's just kind of a lag at the startup of the school year, and I don't think it's anybody's fault. It's just summer happens and then things don't get implemented until October. And the kids have lost, several weeks of.
So ideally, we make those placements before we leave the last year, so everyone knows where you're going last week in August.
There are some other resources out there too that I went to a transition training, and they've got like groups out there that will help go out and find some different workplaces for us. So during the summer, they could have been doing all of that to go find what would work, so we could have some of those things set up. But ideally, if you have it set up before school's out, you have to yank it in the fall. When you yank it, at least it's set up, ready to go, instead of 2 weeks after school starts.
Thank you. And then who was the, Morgan, who was the nominator for Read With Me?
Sarah Bowser.
Sarah Bowser? Administrator, any other comments? Administrator and director reports.
Some things I want to share that I know I have them in there as well, but the high school, a lot of our professional development so far has been focused on social emotional learning, and our staff has really responded to that. We're actually, as an admin team, we're headed on Monday to really an all-day training more about social emotional learning and how we can incorporate, how teachers can incorporate that into their everyday classroom. So that's been really good, a lot of really good response from our staff at the high school. And a lot of our cluster time and some of our team time on Monday has been focused on that. Speaking of team time, so that's on Mondays. That's been really good collaborative team time, as we've had several chances for our teams to get together, just building that community of collaboration. And I heard some of that in the report earlier. Just I think that's definitely a place of growth for us, and so excited about our teams working with each other, but also cross-curricular as well on Mondays and Wednesdays. Our counselors, kind of an update from our high school counselors. They've already met with every freshman in the high school, checking in, just touching base with them, as well as working on their schedules for this semester and next. And they've met with about 50 seniors, and this year they invited senior parents to come in as well, kind of planning for next steps, whether it's college or career. So they've had a lot of good responses there. And obviously homecoming this week, and so I'll be ducking out here in a little bit, headed to Coronation, but we're excited about the parade tomorrow and a lot of planning that's gone into that. Hopefully the weather holds up. So
I like that. I like your little team time and your teacher meeting.
Yeah.
Council. Well done.
it's been really good. And we also put in place collaborative team leaders, so every team has a leader, kind of sets the agenda, facilitates the meeting, and working on training those leaders as well throughout the year. So
Okay, great. Thank you.
Curious, how many kids will be in the principal's council?
I don't know yet. In the past I've had 20 or 25. I had one student talk to me about it today, so hopefully.
So you might have one?
Hopefully 10 to 20. I might have to move the essay page requirement down a little bit, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, and then my follow-up question is going to be, let's say you get a bunch of them, will anybody who writes an essay kind of be maybe probably given the opportunity?
Yeah, and my thought process on it was student council can sometimes be a popularity vote. You know, and there's a lot of great student leaders in the building that hopefully principal's council can give a voice to. Maybe somebody.
I like that.
Yeah. So.
Well done.
Yeah.
Mr. Richards?
Just also want to talk, our Wednesday learning with our instructional coach, Kelly Koonsman, we're really focused, we got back into our instructional framework the last couple of weeks on all the indicators, and we are going to focus on question 2 for our PLC learning process, which deals with after essential standards, the assessment piece of it, and making sure the assessments are aligned with essential standards. But we still have a lot of work on our essential standards. I know just talking with Seth and Corey, they've gone through a lot of the process, and it's not just once you pick them, you're done. We're going to work through a book that really breaks down the standard and talks about the proficiency levels within it. To get them to understand it, because if we get to level 4 for HRS, it's standard reference grading, some reporting out on standards, and we have to be pretty solid on that. So that's kind of our work this year for that learning. I also wanted to, we're having a bus driver appreciation day. We had it last year at the middle school. The middle school parent group came up with this, and I don't know, Mike, he's probably the first time he's heard of it, the debate, but we met Thursday, and it was nice last year. A lot of the bus drivers came. We had rolls and coffee, and student council wrote some thank you notes just from a lot of the middle school and different things, and they really enjoyed that. So we're going to do that. If any of you can attend, that'd be great. I know they appreciate it, but it's just one of those things. They have an extremely important job for the district.
When was that going to be?
October 18th at 8:30. It's a Friday. I know it's tough. We're going to extend the invitation. Just know that we're doing something to show our appreciation district-wide. That's kind of a district, not just a middle school for that. And then I'll have next month, we're doing something similar to high school. We're calling it Student Advisory Group. And we're trying, because student council, it's more service leadership, and they do a lot of good things around the school with events and just trying to be leaders, but also giving students a voice. So we're doing some stuff with 6, 7, 8 comment times that we're going to try and have every kid involved in a meeting that deals just with issues going on in the school, in and around things that we want to talk about, that we want data back on, and things that they want to talk about. So that'll be happening just periodically in months. We're kind of getting the framework set up for that.
Okay, thank you.
Highlight the things I've listed in the report, I think, is our win time is up and running this week with our win what I need time for interventions. A lot of work through spring data now, with pairing that with data here in the fall and getting students what they need to close those gaps, and like John said, with the essential learnings and everything. So a lot of work that's finally we're able to see the fruits of the labor and have students work in specific interventions. We've got some work to do with the top end of things. I'm proud that we have a couple teachers pairing together to do it's not a genius hour, but they're putting their talents to work and putting some things together. We're going to tie in some STEM and different things. So I'm excited to see where they're going to take that. Outside of that, I'd like to publicly thank Mrs. Knapp, Mr. Pearson, and Mrs. Fetters for all their extra work they've done this week with all of our special plans for tomorrow for homecoming. It's been quite the undertaking, so we're looking forward to all the excitement.
Thank you.
All right, so professional learning, much like at the high school with Seth, we've been really focused on social emotional things. I believe I spoke last time on morning meeting. That's kind of been continued throughout these first couple weeks of school, so that just giving teachers more tools in their toolbox to bring back to kids. That's how every kid starts every day other than tomorrow because of the crazy schedule. Fourth grade has to go to specials first, but other than that, every day for every kid starts that way. I would highly recommend, if you guys are in the building, please come in and take part and sit in a circle, do it with your kids or with any kid. I think you'll walk away feeling really good about the start to your day to go to work, which we're always super thrilled to do. So that's kind of been our focus. We're shifting gears to reading coming up next, especially as we start getting all the data in. So that's where those are some of our next pieces, and then we'll keep going back to social emotional throughout the year. PTA started last night as well. There were a whole lot of folks at the PTA meeting. So I got to meet them. It was very exciting. They're very excited to kick off everything at West. Fundraiser started in the community with businesses, I believe, last week. But then we're having a kickoff next Friday with all the kids, so all school assembly to start our day. So we'll see. I guess there haven't been a lot of assemblies lately, so we'll see how that goes as we roll all 500 kids into the gym. I think it's going to go magically, so it'll go really, really well. They're not asking anybody to sell anything. They're actually doing kind of a readathon. So kids are selling reading minutes. They're pledging to read for the amount of dollars that they raise. Because I know sometimes selling things, especially as sports teams and all those things go throughout the neighborhoods, it's the kids are pledging to read. And then I believe I got to get duct taped to a wall at some point, and we have all sorts of things going on for them to earn and to take part in. The whole school will take part.
What amount are you going to get stuck to a wall?
I don't know. I mean, what amount are you willing to give? Because a little bit more than that.
A little bit more than that, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So we'll kick off with that next Friday morning. So that'll be that. And then new drop-off procedures. Keith, you could speak to it perhaps, but I have not seen a backup onto the road yet. So
I haven't either.
I haven't been there to try.
okay, so I have not seen a backup onto the road. So and I haven't got once the kids when the kids are now trained in what they're supposed to do. So problem solved. Fingers crossed. As of right, even when it has rained, we haven't run into that yet. So hopefully that has kind of helped that process through. We'll see about tomorrow. We're super excited for the parade. The sign-out process, I think, is got to get a little hairy since we can't use the front door because the parade is starting in the parking lot, so you can't really have parents go into where we're setting the whole parade up. So we're sending kids out the back door tomorrow, signing them out, having as many teachers as we can get in the hallways to get kids moving in that direction. We'll do our best. We'll see how it goes.
You think a lot of kids will leave?
I think we're at 100 and some.
And growing.
And grow, yeah, and the list just continues.
3 miles.
So
Yeah,
where
The
will they
rest will
watch
be
it?
watching from the.
Come and go that way.
So when we bus like Central over, where will we drop the little people?
Come and go.
Come and go?
Well, West students, only 4th grade West students are going down. The rest of them are going to be up in front of the school. And so they actually get like a mini pep rally before it starts with the cheerleaders and with the homecoming king and queen and all that kind of stuff. And then they get to turn around and watch the parade, then start and head down the street. I walked it last Friday. It's 0.97 miles. If that's on your walking, if you want to figure it out, start in the parking lot. I don't know that our younger friends would have made it. I don't know if they would have made it back. We might have had to send out some search parties for some kids. So that's West we're not sending all of the West kids down. So they'll get it at the beginning. So they get a slightly different experience.
So they're not just watching from the square or what?
Central, they'll be
Yeah.
lined up from going towards west along that way. It'll go by and they'll follow into the square afterwards.
That's all Central kids?
We have 23 buses.
So all Central kids?
All 4th and 5th graders are in the parade.
Yeah, but then.
Pre-K3 are going to be in front of, starting at come and go down, and then they'll walk back down towards the
Okay, so
square.
all those kids are going to participate in the pep rally, or in the, but the West kids are not going to, they're going to stay after the parade, they're going to go back in the building.
Mm-hmm.
The
Except
little
for the
ones.
100 and
That have signed out.
however many that are signing out, yeah.
Did you say the older kids at West are going down?
The 4th graders are walking in the parade.
Right.
Yep.
And what time's the parade?
2:15.
I should go down and just take pictures of our buses coming in.
Director Randy again? Okay. MJ?
Just kudos to all the special education teachers going through that training with the how to run an effective IEP meeting, what that looks and sounds like, and still working on those pieces along with the IEP timeline. So, starting at the beginning of the year, what should you be doing with everybody's IEP, what goes next, and so that's something that not only do we do with the teachers, but I've also brought it to every admin meeting that we've had. We've worked on that with the administration. And then every month when we meet with them, we'll go through that, and even just having that checklist attached to every IEP they have, so we make sure that we are compliant with all of that. We also set up every 6 weeks with the 612 teachers, AEA, myself, and a teacher. We'll sit down and we'll rotate the teachers through and work through all of their IEPs, all of their goals, what do we need to change, what needs to happen with IEP goals, what's the next steps, communication if we need to have that with parents, so we've set that up this year. 6 weeks we're going to rotate through, so if we need to do it more often next year, we'll kind of look at that. But I think it's a good start to get to know each student, their skill level, what instruction they need, and what materials they need to do that. So, and also even that collaboration with the gen ed teacher. What are we doing with the gen ed teacher? Organization of IEPs, they're very excited about that, but that will be started up this month. We'll start to organize system-wide, district-wide our IEPs, so it will look and sound the same. All the materials will be in place, so if we go into a classroom, we'll be able to pull a folder and look at that. And Shaylee Torrance has started with us. She's our new transition support consultant that we fought for to have this year, so we're happy that she's a part of our team this year. EL, I have an update with the EL students, testing students right now. So right now we have 5 students that are EL identified that we'll have to serve this year, and 2 more that we still need to test. And then a newcomer coming in December still, who will be here. At-risk counselors, we met this afternoon, we just got done around 4 o'clock, and the counselors set some goals for this year. The first one was the early warning system that we set up last year and got developed last year with AEA. We updated that today, so we're ready to go start to make some decisions on kiddos, put some data in, and kind of make that a habit on a weekly basis to look at that data. They also want to do the new learning with the CASEL, which is the new competencies for academic, social, and emotional learning. We are developing an MTSS system for social, emotional, behavior, mental health, which will take an inventory of what we have in place right now and what interventions we need or where are those gaps. And then we did get a little view of our suicide prevention folder for each school. So I've created a folder for each school based on what the state is requiring for suicide prevention. And we'll kind of go through that just as a counselor group, and then we'll take that to admin, and then we'll get into the buildings as to what that protocol looks and sounds like. So, big goals. We got a big year ahead of us. We meet once a month, every Thursday afternoon for 3 hours. So it's a good group with the counselors, and today they asked at-risk interventionists came in and joined us as well. So.
Great, thank you.
Welcome aboard. It's nice to meet everybody. You do exist. Yes, I do exist. It started, what was that, 27th maybe? So, Mr. Wolf and I have kind of just compiled, obviously, participation numbers as part of that. And some of those are a little bit deceptive as far as we got plenty of multi-activity participants, even in the fall there, between kids doing marching band and kids also being involved with the high school and in other activities with that. So probably the big takeaway for us is we've started the 3D coaching segment for the fall. Had that class last week. We've got another one coming up. So they're going through 5 segments or 5 sessions, 45 minutes in the morning. And our goal with that one, as we kind of go through and build curriculum off of those modules, is we don't want it to just exist as, hey, let's sit in here for 45 minutes and talk. What are actually applicable things that we can kind of compile, have them shared in a Google Doc folder or something like that, so that a coach can go back, even if they're not in the fall session with the coaches right now, and have some kind of tools basically in the toolbox to, okay, what do I do in this situation, or what are some ideas that maybe some of our other successful coaches are implementing along the way with that. So I was kind of familiar with it when I came in here, but it's been a really good experience so far. But I've learned myself quite a bit about that. So, and then we just tried to highlight, obviously, upcoming things. And Ben wanted me to hit on the fact that middle school play this year, got some uniqueness with that. And they're trying to make sure that they've got as many opportunities so that they're providing kids can be in that activity, and then also those middle school things as well there. So.
Nice to see our marching band numbers up.
Thank you. Welcome aboard, by the way.
Thank you.
Anything else? Supervisor reports. Any other? Commissioners, any other questions, comments? Can you provide? Supervisors, buildings and grounds, June.
Just say we're fully staffed this year at the beginning, and I have 2 or 3 subs lined up and looking for more because we always have somebody gone. But, and I'm just starting to put in a plan of meeting monthly with each building and with the activities director and the principal in each building, just so we can make sure the custodians are, on the same page with the administration and we're getting everything accomplished that needs to be accomplished. And as a goal, I want to start kind of when somebody's sick, I want to kind of sub a little bit in their area too, so I can kind of get a feel of what they do, if they need anything, just kind of get to know what their job is and help them out and just kind of work with them so we can get a stronger support team together, a stronger team together.
Thank you. Jess is in here.
Jeff is right there.
Jess.
Mr. Reeves. Jeff. Yeah. Sorry, Jeff.
Any questions?
Don't have anything otherwise. Riley's not here. Mr. Groden.
I don't have a lot to add. We've just been working through our tickets. And I think I can't remember the number I put in there, but I think we're down to 60. Well, we were down to 64. We got another like 50 in. I think we're back down to like 70. So just kind of working through those. And
I don't want you pumping up the numbers with like, where's the on-off button? All right, Scott.
No, they're usually some of them are quick, but a lot of them are just running into issues because we had so many changes over the summer. So we have to find a way to just fix it. So other than that, I think you'll see in the approval items, worked with high school on what we're going to kind of need. I think high school had some reserve funds, and we're going to be looking at putting a couple carts in mid-year here to handle some of the issues that are going on.
What are some of the issues?
One of the basic ones was how many classes are being taught that need devices, and they're literally at the same time.
Yeah, mainly our language arts classes. Writing classes for DMAC need that keyboard time, and so the addition of a couple cards would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was money that had already been reserved from high schools.
Anything else, Scott?
No, not much right now.
Mr. Pearson?
Not much to add, just enjoy the new bus and the new minivan that we've got. They're en route. That's it. Very busy.
All right, thank you, everyone. Any other questions, comments before we move on? No? Item number 6, new business, disposable equipment and books.
Questions on any of those? We have a
Surprised how many books on this list that never checked out.
right.
Wow. But again, something books older than me. Not that that's bad. Anyway, I'm just surprised how many never checked out. But no, it's kind of interesting to see some analytics actually on library usage. I've never seen what? Library. That does seem crazy. All digital?
Classes and books.
Should I have a motion to approve this disposal of equipment and books? You can do these all at once, or we'll do them all at once?
Yep, you're awesome.
Furniture and tennis court lights and library books. Have a motion?
Disposable equipment in second.
Keith, all in favor? Aye. Legislative priorities.
This is when we get to pick our.
That's on the On the supplement that I haven't run over you or that from up here, I have last year's on there for you, so you know what you did last year. Also then what ISB did, right below that, and I put a letter C, and there's just another one that you might want to consider since the save was accomplished last year. Anybody need a paper copy of them?
Is that my mark? So last year was research-based initiatives, mental health, compensation wages, and then say, right? I had 7, 8, 12, and 19.
I would be absolutely fine with 7, 8, 12, and 19.
We gotta do 5? Is that right?
4.
Four.
Yeah, 4.
You had mentioned the bond issues ones, what were your thoughts around that?
Well, instead of the 60% approval, that it would drop it to 50% approval, which is the same as other referendums or levies when you pass them, that would be consistent.
We haven't had issues with doing the 60% though.
Close, moving
Right.
this building from 63, but yeah, that would.
I was there.
Based on voter
Voter turnout, probably.
I was there.
Three families? 7, 8, 12, and 19.
No, that was contentious, that was huge.
7 is mental health, 8 is special education, 12 was teacher leadership and development. I mean, I didn't go with one because they, to me, they kind of mirror each other, just the way I'm reading it. And then number 19.
19
School funding policy.
To me, 7 and 19 are must.
I'm good with the 7, 8, 12, 19.
What would be the difference between, on the special education, between state and federal?
We don't get as many federal dollars. I mean, that's whether to try to levy more federal dollars for special education. If we could change the state dollar weighting, it would make a huge benefit for us as far as cost and offsetting some deficits. And reviewing the whole program.
And 19 plays into general funding, per pupil, special ed funding.
Correct.
Timely.
Timely is
So then we keep on board.
So, yeah, we got 7 and 19 for sure.
And then we got 8 and 12.
Good with 8, I'm gonna sold on 12.
8 I'm fine with.
Yeah. What about,
What do you need?
well, what about 13? The market competitive wages.
I think we can take care of that ourselves.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Versus mandating it?
There's your mandate.
Yeah, okay.
Because I circled 12 because to me it goes to, like I said, it kind of goes hand in hand with one, research-based initiatives. We're already,
Backs up PLC process, MTSS. I think it's important that it has beginning teacher mentoring included.
Sold. Heat sold.
Abstain. On these votes, I'm gonna abstain.
do I have a motion to approve legislative priorities as number, I'll read these off to make sure I'm, 7 is mental health. 8 is special education, state. Teacher leadership and development, Number 12. And number 19, I believe, right, school funding policy.
I like that we finally shifted to, it's less about, not that it wasn't, but less about money and funding, and, you know, it's just kind of pleasant that this, 3 of them are all about
Instruction.
instruction.
And teachers.
Education.
Do I have a,
Exactly.
do I have a motion to approve those 4 items, 7, 8, 12, and 19?
Second by Keith.
Keith? James? All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Resolution approving revenue purpose statement, ordering an election on a revenue purpose statement to authorize expenditures from revenue received from the state secure and advanced vision for education fund and ordering the publication of a notice of election.
So moved.
What was that, Joe?
That's our revenue purpose spending statement that we have to have.
Second.
We all good with that? You all read it? Keith, you read it, Mr. Contract Guy?
I don't understand what some of
Yeah.
the chunks of it are.
And because to me it repeated it, right? Okay, all right. We're all good with that? We're all,
But again, the intention here is to, I mean, this is all a standard document that's
correct.
provided by the state.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
we're obligating.
Now we can spend the state money funds from 2030 through 2050.
If the voters approve of how we spend it.
Yep.
If they agree to ballot. So, which I'm sure they will.
I already,
Diane, do I have a motion to approve item C?
Yes.
Diane, Dave, all in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Overnight trip request, this is for the FFA National Convention.
sounds like a great idea. So moved.
Second.
And,
Is this an annual thing?
yes, yep, make kids take turns, go who goes, some kids have been on it.
It's a larger group though this year.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great experience.
You sure you want to hang out with kids from Sheridan?
It's a way to meet friends. So Diane, second, do I have a second?
Yeah, it was me.
Dave, all in favor?
Aye.
5-0. All
Your
right.
profession to abstain from that.
I probably should.
No, it's not.
Well, so is mine.
Yeah, his daughter's going.
Well,
We said
all of our kids at one point went to this school.
Item number E, the SBRC request for allowable growth for special education deficit, $574,000. And that's in line with state, right, Dan, that gives us a pass-through?
So that's added on to our aid levy
Yeah.
for our taxes.
Okay. A motion to approve allowable growth. for
So moved.
Dave,
Second.
Keith, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0. Board updates.
Dan, what was your, what's the concern on the culvert?
Did you look at it?
I
Well, when
looked
you're
at
talking,
it.
are you just talking about the white, this?
No,
this
No,
space?
you're talking about the dip where the.
So we had a student last year that hit the pole right before that, so luckily that pole stopped him. But if you look at how big it is in there, and then that kind of ravine that goes down in there, it's an eyesore first of all, but it's just right off the edge of the road too, where you easily could drop
It's like
off.
about that deep.
Right on the
Yeah.
corner, on the east.
Right on the corner. So when we're leaving,
Right.
is it on the corner on the inside?
Right on your
Yes.
right-hand side, yeah, you're right on your right-hand side, past the gravel
Coming around
parking lot,
that turn.
on the, which is on the west side of the middle school there.
Yeah.
So your proposal would be,
We need to get somebody, because we have some drainage issues there too, but I don't, we were looking at
Basically,
June
get
and I.
somebody out here to look at it.
Yeah, it might be one of our including our
okay,
page.
phase we go?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I guess my only comment is, again, thanks for working with Andy. I mean, that was, I don't know how much time you put into that, and again, everybody that was involved, appreciate it.
Yeah, I think the key here is
Keep moving.
looking everything in it, setting timelines, goals, and use the document as kind of one of our guiding principles to give better services.
Yeah, and not be having the same discussion for years.
Mhm.
And that's been clear, so.
My question that is, numerous times in that document was about assessment, and I'm talking about you guys out there and all your data assessments, where's the disconnect, I guess, on the special ed side? That, do we not have the tools to properly assess? Or, you guys feel free to chime in, because you guys deal with the special ed, you know, the struggling learners too. Where,
Are you talking about roads? Like that?
yeah, I mean, because we're talking about getting data and whatnot in this
Well,
this
have they seen
document.
the report?
They have
No,
not.
they have not yet.
So they probably
But
don't
no,
know what you're
I'm talking about is how we collect, these guys are always collecting data to do assessments. Every kid in the general ed population. Why, I guess, do we not use the same tools in the special education side? I know, I mean, it's tough, but I guess where's the disconnect that we we can't get the assessment or get data? Or where, you understand what I'm saying? Because if we're assessing all of our general education kids, right? We get all
We
these
assess,
tools.
we assess all kids.
All kids.
Okay. So where was she, I guess, where was the disconnect, and I guess we're not properly assessing it? Where, I guess, where would that have come from?
So, I think with some of the reading tests, just getting on to everybody's on the same page, using the same stuff, like the most up-to-date ways of looking at
And
that.
I take that more as curriculum, and that's probably something we need to talk about as a district,
Yeah.
not necessarily just assessments.
Okay.
Progress monitoring, there's some issues with progress monitoring, data
Yeah.
entry.
Yeah.
Yep.
And making adjustments when.
Yeah,
we need
so when it
to make
comes to-
property, different things as a district, I think I heard too, but.
Yeah,
I
when
think,
it comes to,
I think what you're talking about a little bit more is just about the curriculum and the assessments that
Yeah.
we use with that.
yeah, so when we're looking at progress monitoring, like, yeah, are we getting in the data when we're supposed to get in the data, but some of the stuff that comes up in the report, like, is the data you need, right?
Yeah.
It's different than just putting in data points all the time, like, are we measuring what needs to be measured here? So,
For answering, asking my
That's
question.
that's why we set up those 6
Right.
weeks. I really hope we can look and say, is that really even a good goal for Johnny? Are we measuring what, where the deficit was or whatever? But that's really what those times are for. To look at that, see, is that the right instruction we need to have?
so obviously, all you guys are gonna see everything that's in this and have access to it. And that's what I would like to see come back eventually, is have the district come up with, these are the areas of concern. They were the areas of concern 3 years ago too. This is what we're gonna do first. Here's our timeline. Here's the action plan. If you wanna set up SMART goals for everything, go for it, but, just everything that's on here, eventually, how do we change that system?
And I would like to have the collaboration between everybody, so everybody is on
Well, I
the
think
same
it was-
path and.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was very much pointed out, so I think we need to let all the administrators with that,
Oh,
say
yeah.
that as soon as possible.
Do we-
There's nothing-
Okay, and then we brought this point up, publish it and let legal look at it first and then publish it?
I can.
Yeah, I would just have them just say, hey, I wouldn't put that in there, just,
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to,
Yep.
if there's a possibility that something has to be redacted
Yep.
because it referred,
Yep.
you could infer
Yep.
a specific person.
Yep, sure can.
But then it will be made public.
Yes.
Yep, without a doubt, without a doubt. And then, maybe I'm kinda getting the weeds in here, will you get that IEP fixed for her on the animal thing?
Working on it. Yeah.
Okay? Okay. All right, do I have a motion, any other questions?
Let me give you a quick update on school board candidates. So 4-year, we had 3 people turn in paperwork, Travis Davis, Joe Heinz, Chris Stotts. 2-year, we also had 3 people turn in paperwork, Missy Bauer, Maria Mariachi, and Dave Potter. So we have 3 candidates for
Not 4 years?
each.
What's up?
I'm getting old,
This is great.
So 3 for 2 and 3 for 1? Correct.
Guess
So
the
who
old
were they
road,
again?
guess the old sign's gotta come out.
I came in here thinking unopposed. I had a big grin on my face, didn't I?
Yes,
Jan?
you did.
So now I've just, my
Sign's
night.
gotta come out.
Yeah,
Turn on the
PR
machine. Travis Davis, Joe Heinz, Chris Stotts, our 4-year, Missy Bauer, Maria Mariachi, Dave Potter.
The two-year piece really adds a level of interesting to the whole thing.
All right, thank you, John. All right, do I have a motion?
Maybe they just didn't want to go to school, though. That's probably it.
You might just think it
Well, that's kind of scary, though. I mean, you're only running then for one position.
Yeah.
So if Joe got,
So the ballot.
so if Joe got the most votes and Travis got the second most votes, doesn't matter if you wouldn't get the two-year position.
Travis is running for
But
the
he's-
4 years.
Right,
But
but
there are
I'm
two
saying, let's
positions.
say
There's 2 4-years.
hypothetically.
There's 2 4-years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 2 4-year employers. One
Okay.
2 years. But the person that got the second most votes on the 2-year position could beat number 2 above.
Exactly,
They
it
don't
won't
get
get,
Right.
Right, that's the,
All right, anything else?
you gotta campaign hard, Dave.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So
Keith.
moved.
All in favor? Keith, Diane, all in favor?
I-
5-0. All right.
4 seasons.